Good day, my dear learners. Before we start looking at our discussion this particular period, get all those things that you need for this particular class. Get your biro, your note, and your jotter, and settle down for the class to start. We'll be looking further at cash books. And before we go ahead and look at this, the objective of this particular topic include the following. 1. You should be able to define 2-column cash book. 2. Draw its format. 3. Post transactions into the 2-column cash book. And 4. Balance of the cash book. That is the 2-column cash book. In addition, you are expected to be able to define a 3-column cash book, show its format, post transactions into the 3-column cash book, and then balance of the 3-column cash book. First and foremost, we'll be looking at the meaning of 2-column cash book. The other time we discussed 1-column or single-column cash book. And when we say single-column or 1-column, I told you that it means a cash book having just a column at the two sides for recording cash transactions or for recording the amount. However, in a 2-column cash book, according to its name, so this one is a type of cash book that is having 2 additional columns at the two sides. That is for bank transactions and cash transactions. That is, we have 2 extra columns in addition to the cash columns existing in a single-column cash book before. So we have 2 other extra columns. That is a column each at the two sides, making 2 columns for bank transactions in a 2-column cash book. In other words, apart from the columns for cash or amount that we already have in a single-column cash book, so in a double-column cash book, we now have additional column for bank transactions at the two sides. The cash column at the two sides are for cash payments and cash receipts. Also, the bank columns at the two sides are for check receipts and check payments. The format of a double-column cash book. This is the format of a typical double-column cash book or 2-column cash book. That is, we have a column for date. We have this column for date, then column for amount, then column for folio, then column for cash, and then column for bank transactions. The same thing happens at the other side. So we have the column for date, the column for particulars, the column for folio, column for cash, and then column for bank. So therefore, making it five columns are the two sides. And altogether we have 10 columns in a double column cash book. How do we post transactions into the double column cash book or two column cash book? We have to follow the same principle, that is the double entry principle, in posting transactions to the two column cash book. For example, if we are given the following information, record the following transactions into the double column cash book of Amadi and balance of the account for the month of October 2019. On 1/10, that is 1st of October, balance brought down, cash in hand 350 naira, cash at bank 800 naira. Then 3/10, check from Mazuka, a debtor, 200 naira. 7/10, cash sales 400 naira. 8/10, purchase goods from Nuru with check 500 naira. Then 12/10, sold goods to Asad 240 naira. 15/10, withdrew cash from bank 200 naira. 20/10, paid rent by cash 240 naira. 25/10, paid wages by check 240 naira. 27/10, paid a creditor Kazim by check. Then recording all these transactions. So we are going to apply the double entry principle or follow the double entry principle. So like we have the debit side and then the debit side. So the debit side is at the left hand side and then the credit side is at the right hand side. The debit side is the side receiving some value or some amount, whether cash or check, while the credit side is the side receiving that is giving out some value. It could be cash or it could be check. So as at 1st of October, so the balance brought down, that is the amount that was received by the cash double column cash book, 350 naira for cash and then 800 naira for bank or check. So and they are going to appear at the debit side. Then 3/10, check from Azuka. Azuka paid a check of 200 naira. So and that will be debited into the bank column. Then 7/10, sales that were made 400 naira cash. So and it's going to be debited into cash column. Then we have 8/10, purchases. So amount of money was spent, and it was a check. So and it's going to be credited to the bank column. Then 12/10, sales to Asad. So an Asad paid 240 naira cash. So it's going to be debited to the cash column. Then we have 15/10, cash withdrawal. So some amount of money was taken from the bank and as such. So the bank column is going to be credited while the cash column is going to be debited with that amount of money, which is 200 naira. And this one is a transaction, type of transaction we refer to as a contra entry. That is a transaction affecting the bank and the cash column at once. Then on 20/10, rent was paid, which was 240 naira cash. So it's going to be credited to the cash column. Then 25/10, wages also was paid by check, which is 240 naira, and it's going to be credited to the bank column. Then 2710, a creditor. We pay the creditor with 500 naira check. So, and that is going to be credited under the bank column. Then we have to determine the balance carried down and the balance brought down for the two columns, that is the cash column and the bank column at both sides. So we have to consider the cash column first. So when we add the cash column, that is all those items under the cash column here, add them together, and then add those ones under the cash column here, add them together. So when we now add them together, we have to consider the one that is greater. So the one that is greater, we are going to take away the one that is lesser from it. So, and in this case, so the cash column at the credit side is the smaller one. And therefore, we are going to take it away from the total that we have at the debit column, that is cash debit column. So when we take it away, so it gave us a 950 naira. So that 950 naira is the, as at 2710, is the balance carried down. So if you add 950 naira to 240 naira, that will give us 1190 naira. So thus making the two cash columns, to be equal. So the balance brought down as at 2710 for cash column is going to appear under this place. So, and it will be 2710 balance brought down under the cash column, 950 naira. So it's going to be this 950 naira. This 950 naira. Then the next thing is to look at the bank columns. So the bank columns together. So we have to add together all those items that are available at the bank column here, and then we have to add together all those items we have at the bank column here. So whichever one that is greater, we are going to deduct the smaller one from it. When we add the bank column together here, so this side is greater. That is the credit column of the bank column is greater, while the debit side is lesser. Therefore, when you deduct the total of what you have originally under the bank column here, when you take it away from the total of the credit column, which is 1440 naira, so it's going to give us 440 naira, and that will be the balance carried down under the bank column as at 2710. So it's going to be the bank column, the balance carried down, and this balance carried down so gives us 1440 for the bank columns, and the balance brought down as at 2710. So it's going to appear under the bank column here, balance brought down. So it's going to be 440 naira. So, and that balance of this particular cash book, that is the 2-column cash book. Now, having gone through that particular cash book, so you now have this to practice. You now have this to work on. So draw the table or the 2-column cash book or double-column cash book and post all these transactions into the cash columns and the bank columns, whichever one is applicable to each of the transactions. The next one we'll be looking at is meaning the 3-column cash book. So we'll be looking at the meaning of a 3-column cash book. When we say 3-column cash book, so it is a cash book consisting of another extra column for discount received and discount given out at the two sides. So the 3-column cash book is also known as triple-column cash book. And the major identity of the 3-column cash book is that it contains an additional column for discount received and discount given out. The format of a 3-column cash book. The format of a 3-column cash book, we have two sides to the 3-column cash book also. That is, we have the left-hand side and the debit side, and the right-hand side, which is the credit side, like we have in other types of cash books. So the left-hand side records all cash receipt and check receipt, while the credit side records all cash payments and check payments. And we equally have an extra column at the two sides for discount given and discount received. Now, looking at the format of a 3-column cash book, like I mentioned, there are two sides to the 3-column cash book. That is the debit side, which is the left hand side, and the credit side, which is the right hand side. So the left hand side records all cash receipts, while the credit side records all cash payments made. And under the 3-column cash book, we have the column for the date, that is when the transaction actually came up. Then 2, we have the particulars, that is the description of the transactions. Then 3, we have the folio, that is the page where the transaction can be traced or can be identified. Then number 4, we have discount received or discount given out column. And lastly, we have the amount or the value of the transaction in a particular currency. The format of a typical 3-column cash book is like this. We have the debit side here, and then we have the credit side at this place. And we have the date, the particulars, the folio, then we have discount allowed, then we have the cash, and then the bank columns. And at the right hand side, we only have the date, then the particulars, the folio, discount received, then the cash column and the bank column. In recording transactions in a 3-column cash book, so the same double entry principle equally apply here. So if we are asked to, for example, if we are asked to record the following transactions in a 3-column cash book of Ahmad and bring down the balances for the month of July 2017. Ahmadi, we are told, started business on 1/7/2017 with a capital of 2,000 naira cash in hand, and then cash in bank is 1,000 naira. Then 1/7 cash sales 620 naira. 10/7 bought goods for cash 600 naira. 15/7 bought office furniture 210 naira. 27 paid premium in cash 150 naira. 21/7 bought goods for cash 200 naira. 22/7 received loan from Julian 500 naira. Then 25/7 again cash is 750 naira. We have other transactions 26/7 Lamo paid cash 400 naira. 27/7 paid cash into bank 3,400 naira. 27/7 paid part of Julian's loan 300 naira. 28/7 received check from John 700 naira. 28/7 paid check to Shidera 400 naira. 29/7 withdrew cash from bank 850 naira. 29/7 Shuku paid his account by check 1,800 naira less 5% discount. And 29/7 again paid for purchases 500 naira less 5% discount to Jacob. Now, recording this or posting these transactions, so it's going to appear like this in our 3-column cash book. That is, we have the column for date, particulars, folio, discount, cash, and bank at the debit side. And then we equally have columns for date, particulars, folio, discount received, cash, and bank at the credit side. So all those payments that are made either by check or cash, or the money received either by cash or check, so we are going to debit them. For example, 1/7. So the cash balance that was received by this cash book is 2,000 naira, while the check or the balance in the bank was 1,000 naira. So this one will be debited to the cash 3-column cash book. Then 3/7 cash sales 620 naira cash will be debited. Then 10/7 purchases, that is some amount of money was given, 400 will be credited. Then 15/7 furniture, bought furniture 210 with cash will be credited. Then 22/7 loan from Julian, that is Julian gave us some loan, and that will be debited to the cash 500 naira. Then 27 premium, that one will be of premium for insurance, and that will be a cash of 150 naira. So it's going to be credited under the cash column. Then we have 25/7 sales 750 naira. So it debited under the cash column because it was cash. Then 27/7 again, cash was withdrawn, and then it was banked. That is what cash was taken to the bank. So that one is a 2-column. It's a contra entry also, and therefore is going to be recorded under the cash and the bank column. So here is going to be credited to the cash column, that's 3,400 naira, and 27/7 here is going to be debited to the bank column because it was taken to the bank. Then withdrawn from bank also again 850 naira. So that one also is going to be credited to the bank here and then debited to the cash column here. Then Shuku paid us and he was a debtor, so 1,710 naira. So the discount that was given was 90 naira. That is 5% of it after calculating it. Then purchases also. So with a discount of 25 naira which was given to us, and the amount that was actually paid out was 425 naira. So now the next thing is to balance off mainly the cash columns and the bank columns. So we don't have anything doing with the discount received and discount allowed columns. We have to leave it. So taking the cash columns, we have to add the postings in the cash column together and see how much it's going to give us. So whichever one is higher, so we now take this lesser one or the smaller one away from it. So here, the debit column was lesser, and when we took it away from the credit column, the total of the credit column, so it gave us 165 naira. And then for the bank, so when we added the bank columns together, so the credit column was lesser, and when we took it away from the debit column, so it gave us 1,960 naira. So giving us 6,810 for the bank columns and 5,285 for the cash columns. So the balance brought down will appear under this place. 38.7 balance brought down for bank is 1,960 naira, and for cash 38.7 balance brought down was 165 naira cash. So, and that balance of the cash book. Reference book, simplified and amplified accounting for SS by Femi Lunge et al. Lunge Publisher, Essential Financial Accounting by for SS by Ibrahim et al. Tunad Publishers. So the assignment, you are expected to work on the following assignment. So you have to work on them. That is the two assignments, one on double column cash book and the other one on 3 column cash book. Conclusion. The single column cash book has only a column for recording cash receipt and payment. The double column cash book is the same as 2 column cash book and has 2 columns for recording cash and bank transactions at the 2 sides. The major identity for the 2 column cash book is that it contains both the cash and bank columns in a cash book. The 3 column cash book has an extra column each at the 2 sides for discounts given and received. So this is the correction of the assignment given for the single column cash book. So you can look at it and compare it with what you did on your own. Thank you for your time.